Audio.
Bless you, boys! But now we're bound for old St. John's where all the girls are dancing either way. And me jolly boys, we're all bound away.
Oh, something has happened, good listener, as we welcome you inside a brand new week of Tall Can Audio. Well, many things have happened. We'll get into it. We were supposed to hear from Chris Hoffley today. He wasn't available suddenly. Some of our other Ottawa friends either not answering messages or suddenly unavailable. I'm sure it has nothing to do with Sunday night's happening, but there is a man who will speak for his people, the Sens people. There is a man not afraid to come in after a bad thing has happened. There is a man who has no problem speaking with confidence when no confidence is warranted. What's going on, man? Thanks for coming in at the last second.
There is a man with no shame.
What a man, what a man, what a mighty good
It's raining men.
It is raining.
It's raining men. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. What's happening, man?
I am appearing on my own show, replacing the replacement.
Yes.
Lots of things have happened here.
Yeah. We should do the beer first. Both probably feeling a little dry.
And
We can get into...
I've been misled. That you have misrepresented what was happening here today.
Oh.
I thought we were breaking down the Pakistan-West Indies cricket match.
You didn't see either night
What?
of WrestleMania?
What?
John Cena, 17-time world champion now. New record holder.
I didn't see you. I didn't
Exactly.
see you.
No, we probably won't get into that.
The Windies-Pakistan test match?
Yeah,
Any of that?
that's
No?
on the list. That's on the list
Windy.
for sure.
Windy is something I've definitely heard.
Yeah. What are you going with over there?
I am, if we're going to stay true to what we sort of talked about when I started out with the sun split, because I was looking for something, my disposition was sunny and looking good. It was bright. Today I've gone back, I've stayed local. This is from the Evergreen
Very nice.
Brewing. This is Limerick to Lowertown Irish Stout.
I've had that before. I think you grabbed me that as part of my winter warmer maybe before
Coming
Christmas.
in at 4%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had a 3 barrels whiskey stout.
Leafs came out 3 barrels.
Yeah. Well, and
We'll
so
get it.
I'd had an Easter brunch prior to actually checking out the bat signal that was sent out.
Rob,
Yeah.
help.
We need a man. We need a man on this job. And so it's funny, Matt, because and we'll get to your beer in a second.
Yeah. I'm going to open it now, but we will talk about
Monday, post Game 1 of the Battle of Ontario, Leaf fan friends of mine who I haven't heard from in months somehow have found my number again.
Yep.
And so I had just finished with probably 3 different guys.
Good for you, man.
Replying. Yeah,
Happy
well,
Easter.
Yeah, it's 2 hands in the mouth. We're good to go here. Anyways, texting to these people.
What a tease. Just the 2 hands in a mouth.
Yeah, well, you know what? I can only do so much. It's Easter Monday on a 4-day long weekend, man. It's a lot of work. So anyways, I had just finished with these. And so as I'm putting my phone down, there was a double, and I'm like, oh, fuck you, Matt. You can wait. Turns out it was Matt. It wasn't just a response to my response.
Right.
It was actually, so maybe 3 hours later, post brunch, I look and there's Matt saying, hey,
People have caved under the pressure already.
Come up lame.
Yes. As we mentioned on a previous edition of the show, I was, not supposed to be here for people who love that good movie, that great movie, Clerks. I'm not even supposed to be here today. I was supposed to be out of town for the week. As those of you who heard over the Easter long weekend already know, during our sort of reminiscing over the Battle of Ontario and then previewing this year's Battle of Ontario, some work being done just outside that studio door. Some of it, much of it, audible. And I got stuck here in town over the Easter long weekend. So you heard that Hoffley was supposed to be here on Monday because I was supposed to be gone. We were going to do that remotely. Hoffley's come up lame. So lame on Monday. He says he's hungover. Maybe drowning his sorrows or got a little too worked up before the game. I don't know, but all of a sudden, I can't do it. Couldn't possibly have another drink and talk hockey. So we wave him away, the coward that he is at this point. I'll be honest with you, I didn't get anywhere near the texts I thought I might after the game on Sunday.
You don't say.
Perhaps the result. Don't want to get too boastful about it. It is one game in a potentially 7-game series. So I will say, and sticking with what I was planning on doing, and in terms of spreading out the beers and how that was going to reflect my mood, I am having from the Tooth and Nail Brewery, also keeping it nice and local, 5%, the Bunker Dunkel. Love a good Dunkel, man. We've talked about that before. Just a darker lager. And this one clocks in, at 5%. I think the show we did previewing the series was that Sweet Treat, the Easter Cream Ale. That was 5.5%. So I've actually dialed back just a little bit on the alcohol. Feeling pretty good here after just being up by one game. So as we allow the series to play out and my mood to be reflected in the beer I'm choosing, it's the Bunker Dunkel. I didn't. It sort of came to me afterwards. I know the post-game show guys on the Sens broadcast call that room where they do the
bunker,
the interviews.
Yep.
They call that the bunker. So this isn't intentionally a an elbow being thrown or anything.
Yeah, it is. It's okay.
Yeah. We will talk in a second about the game, no doubt. How was your Easter weekend? Did you cook?
The Wendy's-Pakistan game?
Yes, obviously.
Sunday night, did a ham, scallop potatoes. No, I didn't do the scallop potatoes. That's not in my... I'm ham guy. I did the green bean. So roasted green beans with goat cheese, walnut, and cranberries.
Covered in goat cheese.
Goat piss.
Sure.
So yeah, ham and the green bean salad is me. And then Monday, where I was grazing, having multiple beverages through my Easter brunch. Now, really, it was just a couple beers and a couple of Caesars.
Yep.
Can't get into too much trouble there.
No.
But yeah, I had scones. I did an egg bake, which I'd never done before. So you cube up potatoes really small. You sort of mix it in with some chopped red bell peppers, some green onions, lots of jalapeno cheese, and then an egg cottage cheese combo in there, scramble it up. You bake those together. It was dynamite, man. I'm just going to say.
Yeah, you pumped the brakes there for some reason. It sounded like you were going to it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
And there was also, I did two of them. One also had honey garlic sausage.
Oh, yeah.
In the ground up, good to go. Man, it was with the scone-wich scones. I'm sure you're not a scone, but if you love your mom.
I do.
I know you do. And it's evident.
She's peach.
But if you were to bring her for Mother's Day some scone-wich scones, you can get them frozen, and she just has to bake them.
She often has to make Mother's Day breakfast.
I know, but I'm just telling you, they're a home run.
Okay.
A home run. You let me know, I can facilitate that.
Whip
for you.
that up.
I can get it into your hands, and you can.
Okay.
She will love it. Your mom will love it, and that's what I'm here.
Especially if she finds out it's coming for Rob, they're coming from Rob.
Yeah.
She's a Rob booster. The Monday show. I don't know if it's the only show of the week that she listens to, but she listens to the Monday show. So
we have a history.
100%. The Leafs and the Sens have a history. We have written the newest chapter of it. I should mention before delving into the hockey, there won't be any baseball talk on this one. It was kind of a disappointing weekend. But our next episode, which I believe will probably drop for you, I was going to say Wednesday morning, but I might as well just drop it as soon as it's ready because Wednesday morning is post Leafs Sens game 2, so people's attention will be elsewhere. Arden Zwelling from Sportsnet back on the podcast.
Talking about peaches.
One of my favorite guys to come on this show from Sportsnet. Love his ability to he's a little dry. I certainly understand that, but his analytical mind and tying that into what you are actually watching, like he doesn't make you feel like a moron while he's explaining it to you.
He's relatable.
Which I require, right? That's the level I need explained to me. So Arden's usually good enough to come on a couple times per baseball season, and that will happen somewhere midday, Tuesday afternoon. We'll get that out the door for you. So,
and he's great at what he does.
He is really good.
It's really good, and it's always worth a listen.
Yeah, 100%. So stay tuned for Arden Zwelling on the next episode of the podcast. But we are here to talk about, for now, and we'll talk a little bit Women's Worlds later, a little bit about some of the other. There are other series going on. I know nobody cares about those. Yeah, but the Battle of Ontario underway on Sunday. Look, I want to give the floor to you here to start. Walking out of Game 1, what was your biggest takeaway from what we saw happen?
I don't find that the score was indicative of the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's misleading, and I think a lot of people are clutching their pearls here on a Monday afternoon. And I'm really in a let's see what Game 2 looks like.
Yep.
For me, it comes down to people with the goaltending. So much belly aching about the Ottawa goaltending.
There was a couple there he had no shot at.
And here's the deal: when you lose, the penalty kill, the penalty kill,
3 for 6,
3 for 6, and 3 of those 3 goals all were scored in under 12 seconds,
under 10 seconds. Yeah.
You're just lost draws, bam to the front of the net, and maybe you want to talk about rebound control. I don't know, but to me, that's the least of the concerns. It's bad penalties. Mm-hmm. It's playing a game that maybe isn't your game and taking stupid penalties. That to me is the thing. And I don't think that'll be an issue in Game 2. 5-on-5 play, I'm pretty good with what we saw here on Sunday night. So I am not as concerned.
Right.
But Ottawa learned a lesson to me on Sunday night. That building was rocking.
We do this every year, right? The talk afterwards, man, that's a loud bill. Every year I have to come on here and say this. In the playoffs, it changes. It's still not a top 5, top 10 building in the league, but it stops being the mundane Thursday after evening, Bay Street crowd, and the volume gets cranked up, and the fans, good for them. They showed up.
And when that OEL goal went in, the first one,
the 1-0, yeah,
the 1-zip, and it's like for a period of time there where the Sens were already sort of toes in the water.
Yep.
The Leafs were coming downhill at them for a while, and Ottawa's not a team that's built to play from behind, and they were chasing it from an early spot, started taking bad penalties, and it just got away, and the crowd played a part of that. But
Sure.
The Leafs were good.
Yep.
I'm not sure the Leafs can play better.
Maybe. It's interesting, right? Because at the end of the first, what were the shots? 13-4, 13-5 at the end of the first?
Yeah, you're right.
Something like that. And the Leafs did sort of come back, but the Leafs capitalized on their opportunities, and the Sens didn't. So that floats a lot, though, too, of the at the end of the game, the ability to say 5-on-5, the Sens were carrying play in terms of possession times and things like that, which is true. That happened in the first period, and it happened again in the third, right? When you dial in your score effects, the Leafs are up. So that's a thing. The Sens had the better 5-on-5 possession numbers, but when you actually zoom out, the Leafs had the better 5-on-5 scoring chances, right? The Leafs did a pretty nice job of keeping Ottawa to the outside, which is what this new version of the defense is supposed to do, right? That it's rightfully, I was going to say maligned, that's too strong, but there's a concern whether or not they'll be able to move the puck well enough. But if you're going to have this big group of D the way they do with your Benoits and your Brandon Carlos and stuff like that, you better keep guys to the outside. And largely, I thought they did that. And so you can, just to finish, I'm sorry, man, to say the 5-on-5 play favored Ottawa, you can sort of pick your analytics and which one you value and which one I value. And that's always the danger in these numbers. So in terms of 5-on-5 possession and zone time, Ottawa had it better. In terms of 5-on-5 scoring chances, Toronto had it better. I don't know which one's more important to you. I don't know but you get to pick your number and go, but see. And so I'm with you. 6-2 is a flattering score for Toronto. I don't know if Toronto can play better or not. Each of the core 4 having a multi-point night. That's, one of the stories we've told ourselves I think reasonably going into the series is, can Ottawa crank the pressure up on Toronto?
Win game one.
That would have done it. And keep those guys off the board. Make Mitchie, oh my God, here we go again. Or what? All those guys are now on the board and up by a game. That doesn't mean Ottawa can't later put pressure on Ottawa, but you've let that one opportunity slide by to make somebody go, wow, why isn't this happening for me? Why is it like...
It's like every single narrative, negative Leaf narrative, sort of...
It's at least for now.
For game one...
Yes.
Got put to bed.
Yes.
You had the scoring across the board. A, the sixth spot. A, you had multiple point nights.
The power play.
For everybody. The power play, they had one in the whole first round against Boston.
One power play goal. That's right.
3 last night.
Yep.
Like, it just, everything, good goaltending.
Yep.
31 saves on 33 shots for Stolarz. Everything just came up. But back to your point of keeping the centers to the outside.
Yep.
You look at the 2 goals they did score.
Yep.
Almost identical. Guys get into the blue.
That's right.
Right on the edge. Stolarz doesn't get that rebound. Up and over.
And he was giving up some rebounds.
Yeah. And so Berube said that prior to the game, right? We need to keep Ottawa away. Keep them to the outside. Don't let them to the net. And the I don't want to say the 2 times they did, but certainly there was a Kachuk one on the power play too that, man, that puck came off and it goes wide. And there were opportunities, but Toronto did.
Do you remember
there
was one moment where Craig Simpson said something along the lines of the Leafs did a nice job of keeping them outside, so Stolarz kicked that rebound into the middle, and you're like, you think that was in that short amount of time? He went, there's nobody here. I can give up a juicy rebound right into the center of the ice.
I'm looking for an assist. Everyone else is getting their cookies
that's
tonight.
Where it hit him, and that's where it landed. No goalie intentionally kicks a rebound up the middle between the circles, right?
I'm looking for the primary. A primary assist on that, Matt. And bang, out it goes. There you go.
Like, come on, man.
I'm leading the breakout.
Yeah.
Get it going.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about, because you brought this up and asked the question in our preview show, was the Brady thing. Was he being overhyped? Or I don't want to step on your toes. I don't remember if that was the term you used.
Overhyped or...
I pushed back and went to overstated. I don't know if that's
maybe.
Nitpicking a little bit. What did you think of his performance in game one? And, did you walk away kind of... I'll put my cards on the table going, I assume he's going to be good at some point in the series. And he will. But while I didn't think he was bad in game one, I do think if you went in on all that look at what Brady's going to do in the playoffs.
Can't wait to see it.
You probably walked away a little disappointed after game one.
Right. And that was, to me, the thing. And I'm not even going to say he's not 100% because that doesn't matter. You're playing. Guess what? You're good to go. It's like
we won't
Matthews.
get an answer to that on either of those guys until their season is over.
So everything, right? Whether it's OEL, whether it's McCabe, whether it's
Jensen.
Matthews, whether it's Jensen, whether it's we don't know,
Yep.
but they are all playing.
Yep.
So guess what?
You're on the hook for your performance.
This is it. And I think Brady was fine last
He was fine.
night.
Yep.
But that could have been a Tuesday in January.
Carolina, yeah.
Yep. Like that to me was he was good. He was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't even Four Nations Cup Brady, right? No. So to me, that's the part where I go, maybe he's not feeling 100%. But I there was so much, and there's been so much talk, which is why I bring it up. And I want nothing more than to see that guy run guys through the boards and get 3 points.
Yep.
I want to see him have Mitch Marner's night, short of running more guys through the boards, right? That's what you want to see, right?
Yep.
He had that breakaway opportunity.
Yep.
That is a thing.
That's true, eh? He scores there. I'm not even asking you the question. That one goal, you get to go, lived up to the hype, did his thing, right?
It's 2-2 at that point, too, right?
Yep,
and then you go, and Marner had that opportunity. And not that I'm comparing the two of them.
Yeah, very different guys.
Very different guys. But Marner is a guy who was under the spotlight.
Yep.
Big time. And he had that breakaway. It's a great play by Matthews to exploit that little soft spot between the D. Bam, and in he goes. And so you're looking for, in these moments, your difference makers to be difference makers. And the Leafs guys were. And at this point, when you have those opportunities, you got to cash those in big moments.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch for me in that sense. Like, the Toronto crowd's giving them the Brady sucks. Like,
yeah,
I don't know whether or not it's motivating him, like whether he could have done more or not. Based on, I know it's not upsetting him or
it's not
throwing him off.
Motivating him.
Yeah,
though, I'll
exactly.
tell you that right now.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't think they don't like me, right? Like
Why me?
right?
And guys like that, you want that
for sure.
You want that at the end of the day, because guess what? He comes out and he puts up 3 points. He puts up 2 goals and an assist, and he's a beast of a net for a present.
Yeah,
Brady is.
Yeah.
Guess what? In game 2, that is in your face.
Sure.
Kind of moment. But that is, as I said, high risk comes with high reward comes with high risk.
Yep.
And so fans are going to have to own that too.
What do you think the story is on, we touched on it a little bit, on Ullmark? Is he, he's got a bit of a checkered playoff past, and it's limited. I think he's played 9 games before this series. I think he's played 9 playoff games. There was some goals there that were clearly not on him. There were also some clear moments where he's looking a little wonky, dropping a rebound or 2. Are you concerned about him, or is that a throwaway night? And
see, the thing is, you can look at, and the Morgan Riley goal is tipped by Highmore out in the point.
Yep.
The OEL one, maybe you want that, right? But it's above the pad. It's not a bad goal.
No.
You go, could you steal that one? Could you stop Marner on the breakaway?
Mm-hmm.
Could you have gotten one of those 3-1 draws and down to, to me, there's maybe a goal.
To me, I'm giving him a pass on all 3 power play goals.
Right.
Based on the way they came together. I'm with you, like Marner's a talented player, but at some point it's one-on-one.
Yep.
Fucking stop the guy. And we've talked about this.
Same like a shootout. The goalies have the upper hand on that.
Right. And so when you sort of look at the way these things play out traditionally, like the goaltending discussion, you can be reasonable and go, well, that was this and this. And then yet at some point, it just is the most unreasonable, unfair position in the sport where fans get to go, I just make a fucking save.
Yeah,
I need a fucking save here. Figure it out, right? Which is not fair, but that's the job.
I'm talking to passionate Sens fans today.
Yeah.
And every one of them is saying, Ullmark. And I'm like, yeah, that's your fucking biggest takeaway? Is Ullmark? Because it's not my biggest takeaway. Now, the thing with Ullmark is when he's not on, like you look, there was 2 goals on 3 shots.
4 on 10
you see,
at one point.
You see those kinds of numbers.
Yes.
He's either on, and it's funny because the first shot came in and he stopped it and there was no rebound. And so in my head, I take the mental note and say, that's good Ullmark, right? When the puck sticks to him and he's not giving anything up, and then bam, the next 2 went in, and you're like, you're biting your knuckle.
Sure.
But again, I don't blame him. Would I like him to have stole a couple of those?
Of course.
Yeah. To me, I am not, after game 1, worried about Linus Ullmark. That is not my starting spot. It's discipline, it's bad penalties, and I know there's a lot of belly aching about the calls. And Travis Green has come out saying, Leafs did a good job of selling.
Too soon.
I know, to me, it's a pack win. That's a pack win holdover.
See, Berube did something very similar a day earlier, maybe 2 days earlier. He said, well, that Stutzla guy is very good at drawing penalties. Like, he's putting that into we know what you mean, and we know we're putting that out there. I think after game 1, well, it's interesting, man. Like, the Sens did some things that put you in a position to take penalties. And yet I do understand the fan base going, yeah, but that one was a little soft. That one was
the only one I thought that wasn't that you could maybe not call a penalty on was the Batherson tripping call.
Yeah. That was the one late second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it's a little chintzy. And it's in the offensive zone. It's like,
have you ever seen the movie Liar, Liar? Jim Carrey, 100 years ago, where he cannot tell a lie. He must tell the truth.
Yeah.
As the Sens fans on my Twitter account, and there was a little bit of like, yeah, welcome back to the playoffs. Every moment is
scrutinized.
You're living and dying on every play. But when you take that many penalties, the quote that comes back to me, like, is from that movie, Jim Carrey, where you can't tell a lie, and some client calls him, like, oh, I held up another ATM at knife point. Like, what should I do differently? And instead of giving him that kind of soft-pedaled legal advice, he gives him the...
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
That's sort of the
Yeah.
the takeaway I was...
Yeah.
I
To me, the Stützle and the Gaudette penalties, you got the fucking guy's numbers right in front of your face.
The Gaudette one especially, where everyone was talking about Matthews and how easily he went down. If you're going to extend your arms like that,
Yep.
whatever happens next, it's on you. And we've had this conversation, man, every year. The idea that, there was one Sens fan in my mentions who doesn't follow me, so I don't mind burying him here, or doesn't listen to the show, to my knowledge. And he's going, have you ever seen anyone in the playoffs get 6 power plays before? I'm like, yes, in round 1
Yeah.
and in the first few games, we always have to remind people they will call a bunch of shit so they can say, look, we're going to call a bunch of shit. And in games 4, 5, 6, and 7, or 5, it depends on where the series is at, that's when the whistles go. But early on, they want that narrative of you can get away with murder to go away.
Yeah.
So they call a lot of stuff. And Ottawa put themselves in a bad spot a bunch of times.
Yeah, we talked about this in the preview.
Yeah.
That exact thing happens. That it is hard early, and then
Once we get to elimination games, one way or another,
it lapses a bit,
Yes,
right? Like,
yes.
because people are saying on the and again, the Ridley Gregg one, you're getting a bunch of people saying, like PK Subban saying, why is that even a penalty?
Right.
And then you got Biz Nasty saying that guy should be suspended. For life.
A lot of people on the Toronto side saying that's the exact same as what Morgan Riley did to him. It's not. It's not. Morgan Riley hunted him, followed him after.
Right.
Like whether you use the term premeditated or whatever, but they're not the same thing. But
what they are talking about though is Riley went to get Gregg's shoulder with the cross check
and it rode up
and hit him in the face.
Yeah.
And in this case, Gregg got the shoulder and it went up into the face.
Yes.
So that's what people are saying. The premeditation and the hunted part is the separator.
Right. This is a battle. And Gregg, like, to me, where my bias shines through, that's 5 in a game. It's not a suspension, but give them the 5.
I thought it was 5.
And there you go. And they went to 2, and you're like,
yes, guy.
Fine.
Yes,
right?
guy.
Like,
that's what I said.
But it's not a suspendable to me. Like, it sucks. I would happily see him suspended, but I can't get to that level of outrage, right? Like it's...
But then the Gaudette one follows that, where Matthews has shown you the numbers.
Yep.
And you then reach out with your stick and you push him face first. I don't care if he goes down easy. My question is, on a kill, what are you doing chasing the guy to the boards, right? Like, to me...
The Batherson one, I get Sens, but like I would be irritated if that was called on my team.
Well, and 3 of theirs, the Gaudette one wasn't, but the Stützle one, the Batherson one, and it wasn't the Gregg one, but 3 in front of the Toronto, like, or around the
in
Toronto
the
net,
offensive
like,
zone.
in the offensive zone. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? That is overzealous. And so to me, those are the kinds of things.
Well, that was the next thing I wanted to ask you, where I wanted us to go next, right? Was it felt a lot to me, and if you want to push back, like Ottawa had heard all this physical, it's going to be crazy,
ramp it up.
Gotta get it, and they went too far in that direction and stopped making plays. And
You overdid it, Holmes.
The panel focused a lot on the number of hits for Stützle, and I get it. Like that is an example of it being. Obviously, he's focused on. It's supposed to be tougher now. I'm going to do that. I need you to make plays, right? Like I need you to battle through that instead of instigating it. Like maybe it's just a one-off. I don't know how often.
Anecdotal, the chances, never 9. He had 9 hits, I think.
Yes.
But anecdotally, that line of Giroux, Tkachuk, and Stützle had to be right down there with the Gaudette, Highmore, Zetterlund line in terms of chances created.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it wasn't a banner night for that top line, and so.
Do you agree though that they just came in over-amped? Like,
well, they doubled Toronto in hits.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I don't expect that not to be the case.
Yeah.
Maybe double is a bit much, but I don't expect them to not out-hit Toronto. But to me...
And Toronto out-hit them in the first, which again makes sense. Ottawa was bringing it in the first. They had the puck all the time.
Yep.
Toronto's going to get the hits there. The rest of the way, score effects come in. Ottawa's getting all those hits. And it ended up being way more than I would have expected. But yeah, to me, that's guys focusing on, the playoffs are supposed to be tough. I'll do that.
Yeah, we're gonna get after it.
I need you to go to the net and score something there, Stutz.
Well, I need you, and I didn't listen to. I was having. There were people over for dinner, and so
just baby cans over here. So I'm into my second one.
Well, you didn't even tell us what it was. Yeah, you did.
The Bunker Dunkel.
The Bunker Dunkel. Yeah. It was. Yeah, I had people over for dinner, and so I had it taped.
Yeah.
PVR.
Taped.
Yes.
Love it.
And so I didn't need
Rob
to.
went down to the train station to wait for the
laser disc. I had it on a laser disc. So I just sort of I whizzed through. I watched the beginning. I wanted to hear what song they came into.
That was weird. Motley Crue.
Well, I see.
To me, throw it back 2000, 2004, something in there. Give me the Trues not ready to go again. Maybe that was the best one they ever did was between Leafs and
not
Sens.
ready to go. I agree.
Yeah.
How about giving me a little Foreigner? Feels like the first time.
Yeah, see, to me, that's out of... at least the message there makes a little more sense. But Motley Crue...
Feels like the first time. Well, you remember last year, so I don't know who it is at Sportsnet. There's somebody that has...
Tim Thompson, they've let go. Bring that guy back. That guy was the magic maker
last
at CBC.
Year, they had Judas Priest. You got another thing coming. Yes. Like, that's 1983.
Yeah. This is it.
So somebody over there is feeling the 80s, the 80s metal, right?
Good point, man.
So I think that is not... I didn't mind it.
I didn't hate it, but I was just like, give me something modern for game one or give me something in that 2000 to 2004.
Matt's looking for a little EDM, something that could... Because that is the Toronto... Whoever does the music in Toronto...
How many times have I said that to you, man? Toronto is that arena is the worst, whitest nightclub in the city.
And it's the...
and this is, I always say... Our buddy Sens DJ, that feels like a grungy hockey arena. There's enough rock in there. There's enough all over the stuff. I'm high on it. I know we've debated that before. But.
Yeah, when I was just at the Blackhawks game at the end, it sucked.
Okay.
It sucked. And
I feel like that building, once you get there, like not even to be an asshole, but like it feels... like a hockey building more than the ACC does.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you there. And my only issue, and it's well debated and well litigated here, right? I don't need to go into it again. They do not a bad job. I just think there's nights where you're like, wow, you could do better. You could do better. And
how about I forward you my Spotify playlist? You did that tonight.
Okay, all right. I'm open to that.
Yeah,
I'm open to that. If you know where to get a hold of me, and if not, Matt can set you up.
Yeah. One of the things that stood out to me, man, was I wonder if it's too soon to suggest they have a Claude Giroux problem. JR, who I've referenced often lately for one reason or another, said he would be very close to ready to putting Zetterlund up on that top line, at least alternating shifts. For me, the bigger problem is how hard John Tavares was cleaning him out on power play faceoffs. 2 goals directly, and 3 really when you talk about the 3 inside 10 seconds. But 2 of them are Tavares cleaning him out, not even close, like not even tying the stick up.
Snapping it back.
Yeah, and boom, goals direct. Look, I think Giroux at some point will have an impact on the series, but I'm not sure. And I think, what was Ottawa? No worse than 4th or 5th on faceoffs in the league.
Yes, and Giroux was top 5 all season.
And so was Tavares. So I was surprised how,
Well, I was surprised looking at the stats this morning. 32 draws, 1 for Toronto, 26 for Ottawa.
It didn't feel that close.
It did not feel that close. But they were key ones.
Yes.
Like those ones on the power play were not close. So I understand what JR's saying and why you would bring it up now.
Yeah.
To me...
Just a bad night at the office? Or?
Well, yeah. And and again, when you have... And I'll just go with Tavares and Matthews. Mm-hmm. Toronto was good.
Yep.
Toronto is good on the draw. Like this is...
Yeah, I think they were second in the league.
Yeah, so it's a matchup of good versus very good in terms of...
And those examples I'm talking about are offensive zone, so Giroux has to put his stick down first.
Yeah,
it's also home games for Toronto. So
and
in
how
theory,
many times did you
change
see the Senator Center get thrown out? Man, it felt like a lot.
Yeah. Cousins, a couple of times I remember specifically getting thrown out.
And what? Just in a total aside, he got thrown out for in the third for there was a 10-minute misconduct.
Yes.
Do you know what that was for?
No.
No. Okay, me neither. I was just like, they're like, he's gone to the change. I
don't know that it made the broadcast. Did you see the thing where Matthews grabs the stick from Ridley Gregg? It kind of, there's a collision sort of near the Toronto bench. Gregg's stick ends up in Toronto's bench. Matthews grabs it and snaps it.
Oh, no, I didn't see.
Gregg skates back to his bench. What are you going to do with a stick? Right?
Nothing. All right, see you later.
I don't know that made the broadcast, but there was a lot of people posting the GIF on or the GIF on social afterwards.
A GIF. So. I think it's a GIF.
I'm with you, but we're in the minority on that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, everyone else is dumb.
I agree. Well, the underline of the show, Tall Can Audio. Everyone else is dumb.
So I love Ridley Gregg's game.
Yeah.
Not even just with the goal. I think he's the kind of guy we need in this series. Mm-hmm. And I say we. That's the royal we, and you're in Ottawa.
Yep.
I think he can bring a little panache to this series, right? In terms of,
well, we talked about that. Him, Kachuk, Perron, like Toronto. I don't know that anywhere. Maybe Max Domi a little bit. Some of that agitating bullshit. And I'm not saying that's like Brady is more than an agitator, right?
Yeah.
But who's going to bring that a little bit? Like from the Toronto side, it was interesting to watch. Like they played Max Domi for the first 2 games of the regular season with Tavares and Nylander, and it stunk. So they went away from it for like the next 78 games. Then they went back to it for the last 2 games of the regular season and then started the playoffs with it. It's like, this is a terrible idea. And yet, to Berube's credit, when Toronto had a real lead, when they got up by 4-2 or 5-2, whatever it was, they switched it out. Went a little more responsible. Holmberg plays in the top 6, right? He's not going to score anything, but he's not going to give away anything. And they started using Domi a little less and less. I think we talked during the preview that I wondered about the idea of the Lawton, Lorentz, that fourth line with Yarncroke. It might actually be the third line, and you will shelter McMahon and Robertson and Domi when you need to. That played out. Minutes ended up being a little closer than I thought they would, but I thought it was handled well. Because you just
Holmberg is the Travis Hamonic.
No, that's unfair.
Okay, and all I mean by that is I just threw that out there and let it sit for a bit.
But that is a horrible accident. That is a drive-by that I can't let stand.
And where I was going with that is, I don't know how many games where you go, how is Travis Hamonic in this great, sweet scoring position?
Yes.
But with zero chance of putting it in, you're like, and it's a great idea.
There's one.
Oh, it's Hamonic, and there's no chance he's scoring. Holmberg is that guy.
Yeah, that's fair. Early third, I think Holmberg had like a partial break and chunk up over the net into the classic. What are you doing?
It's the Alexander Daigle. I'm on a breakaway and going to dump it in the corner.
And you're, yeah,
what
exactly.
What the fuck is happening here?
And like, when you take him out, it's Camp coming in, so I'm not sure that's any better. Pacioretty sitting around waiting.
But it's just one of those things where you're like, oh, he's in a great, like,
yes.
You have the smarts or whatever it is to get into the good spot, but you have
really likes him.
Zero chance of finishing on those
that's right.
great opportunities. And that is, Travis Hamonic is always like very conspicuous. Like, what are you doing? How are you there? Oh, but it's right in the crest.
Last thing for me on this, and if you got more, we can certainly do this, but I wanted to ask you about this substitution that was made like sort of Friday, I think, at the skate. It looked like Nick Cousins was going to be in on the fourth line. Saturday of practice, that wasn't the case anymore. It was Highmore who was going to play. And he was brought in specifically
for the penalty kill,
which did not go well.
Did it not, Matt? Is 50% not good in the playoffs?
It's not going to be great. At that point,
and on a 5-on-5, you've actually deflected it over your goalie's shoulder. Like, is that also not good?
I wouldn't do it personally.
Okay.
Do you kind of throw your hands up? And look, obviously no coach would actually. Well, the penalty kill sucks anyway. How about you go sit down? We're going to go to Cousins because at least he can bring what we know he'll bring. Or is it so much now that we have to fix the penalty kill so Highmore stays in? To me, like I said, it's sort of a stupid high school interpretation, but like, well, we can't do this anyway. So go with Cousins and let him rile somebody up, let him hurt somebody, let him hit somebody.
let him hurt himself as he takes somebody
Wow.
else's knees out, and it's actually his knee he
Jake
takes out.
Quillen.
Yeah, you're like, oh wait,
That showed us.
it's my knee. It's totally smashed. I don't make the change. The reality is
Is there anyone else you'd take it? Like, do you think he'd help them right now? Like, is there someone else you'd take it for him?
there is nobody else
Okay.
I would take out.
Okay.
And it comes down to you need Gaudette to take the draws, and he's about a 50% guy on the face-offs. So you need a center in
Stop
that.
being such a hooligan.
Yeah.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
Yeah. You
God, that
need.
noted
Yeah, exactly.
pugilist.
You need to stay with the center, and so you're not taking Zetterlund out.
No.
And so it is. The reality is Ottawa's penalty kill. If they didn't lose that first draw and it ended up in the net,
That's true. Win a face-off.
like they were.
Well, this is my Giroux question again.
Well, they were routinely getting it out. There
Yep.
wasn't, and again, it
Yep.
seems so ridiculous to say Toronto didn't have a pile of sustained pressure.
That's right.
They had those three that were in right away. But beyond that, Toronto's power play was not. So it comes down to you're not blaming Highmore for taking the draws.
No.
So I think you got to stay the course.
I just think if you're going to lose the draws that cleanly anyway.
This is it, and so
gives a shit who
and
the
that's
other
what I'm
guy
saying is if it doesn't come down to that, they won the draws, and then they were jamming Toronto in the neutral zone. They were keeping them out at the blue line. Like it was just the PK, and again, so stupid, wasn't bad. If it wasn't
Until
for
it
those
was.
three
Those
lost
face-offs.
draws to start, like honestly, and they are 3 seconds, 5 seconds, and 9 seconds. I think
Yeah,
it was
something
just
like that. Yeah.
that's a lost draw, puck to the net. And again, how many times do you or me, people who watch a pile of hockey, and you go, and your favorite team wins the draw, and they're passing it around, and it's very methodical, and you're like, okay. And you're like, how about just put the puck to the net,
like-
motherfucker?
Willie, coming to you. Wham! Good job, buddy.
Yeah. And so those are like, what's wrong with putting the puck to the net?
Yep.
Nothing. Like, just get after it. So it's a long-winded, meandering
here.
answer to your question.
Yeah.
I don't make a change. I do. Would I like to have Cousins for other reasons in? But you're talking about an 18th ranked power penalty kill that he is a mainstay on it. Highmore, I'm talking about.
Yep.
I don't move him out after game one. Like, let's just see what happens here. You know, if Ottawa wins game two,
Yep. They got what they came for.
this
Just get
is
the
it.
split.
You get the split and you come
Who gives
home.
a shit how you got it?
This is it. And so to me, the 6-2 score, not super flattering, but again, I don't think it's super.
It's not a total goals series.
And it's not indicative of the overall play of the game. I think Ottawa got a good slap in the face. Like, I think that is.
I have a hard time not thinking back to Toronto, Washington, game one,
2016?
2017.
2017.
And Marner has said a few times that he thinks, like, oh my God, we're so jittery. And even if you're not jittery, you're excited and you're so
you're
amped
excited.
up. And you get in there with Washington, who at that point had no playoff success. We were still talking about them as those guys who can't get it done. He goes, they're just lining up. It's business. Let's go. And say what you want, rightfully so, about Toronto.
Yeah.
In game one, that's what this looked like. One team who's been here before,
Yep.
one who came out and was excited to be here or nervous to be here in some cases, running around a little bit to be here. And Toronto was able to take advantage. And this has always been, you know, when you talk about those face-off plays on the power play, that's sort of the way this team is built, right? Those big four have to go. And so you win a sweet face-off and make a nice little pass and snap it in. It's never lasted long enough, certainly in the playoffs, to make a run. But that's the way it's supposed to go for Toronto.
That is
right?
what you hope
Right.
to see. And that game last night was, and as you suggested, business is as usual for Toronto.
Yep.
They showed up, whereas the other guys kind of came and they're like wearing their dad's borrowed suit because it's like last minute and you're like, you're
Yes.
not sure. And so what happens between Sunday and Tuesday?
Right.
Do you have a chance to get your shit together, get your own suit in hand, and you're ready to go, right? But it was a slap in the face, and everybody and listening to the audio on Monday morning from Toronto, a lot of guys saying, yeah, no, we were excited. It was It was the building was jumping, and we were fired up. And sometimes you have to, harnessing that excitement is part of the thing.
And Ottawa's got that out of their system now.
And Toronto has, as the butt of the joke, they've had one series win in 8 years.
Yep.
But they've been in a pile.
This is what we used in the preview, right? They've been to they've taken the test. They fail it all the time, but they've taken it a bunch of times, right? And so this idea that Ottawa, can you hang in there long enough and put enough pressure on them for them to start killing themselves, which they have certainly done from time to time. This was not the start to do that.
Nope.
You allowed them all to feel good. You let them have a game up, and it's now going to be tougher to swing that back. A couple little notes on the Toronto side for me was Matthew Nyes actually led the forward group in ice time at 22-29. So you were able to keep everybody, through the third period. They didn't have to be out there a whole lot. I really liked, especially in the first period, that fourth line, Lawton with Lorentz and Yarncroke. Like, I don't worry about them if they have to take a face-off.
Almost cashed one early, too.
Yeah, they did cash one early. Well, they were on for the OEL goal. And then a shift or two later, a couple shifts later, came damn close right on the goal line.
Off the line, yeah.
Yeah. So nice performance for them. And yeah, you want to make sure Tavares is going to keep what he had going in the regular season going. He gets one. Willie gets going. That breakaway one for Mitch might be the biggest thing. I said going in, he has looked fantastic lately. And I don't want to read too much into it because we've talked about this before. Mitch always gets his points early in the series, and then they start to drift down later in the series where Willie goes the opposite way. If Mitch can come into a series and be the best player in that series, Toronto will win this series. If Mitch is the best player, and he looked terrific in game one. So lots to go around there. It's one game. You throw it away. You do it all again on Tuesday night. But I think, Well,
and I got to be honest with you. I went all fanboy.
Nice.
I had my jersey on watching the game
nice.
Sunday night. I'm not doing it Tuesday night.
No.
Back in the closet.
Didn't work, yeah.
No, I don't ever do it. And so I'm just like.
But the house was fired up and everybody gets into it.
I
get it, man.
Yeah. And I just, you know what? Act like you've been here before.
I was out at our friend Josh and Schreider's place on Saturday for night one of WrestleMania and wore the Leaf. I wore the Ottawa Charge hoodie out there. And Schreider's like, hey, love the hoodie. And as soon as I didn't peel it off, Leaf t-shirt underneath. And just, get the fuck out of here. Right? But this is the first time in the history of their relationship, of their marriage. Josh, the Leaf fan, Schreider, the Sens fan. And they were worried about whether their relationship was strong enough to withstand.
Is it going to hold?
I told Josh, I'll leave you a spare key when I get out of town if you need somewhere to go and be safe.
Everything here is under construction, though, so it may not be ideal. But
by then, their house might be under construction, too. Things thrown at each other, and
all right.
We'll see.
All right. Good luck to the crazy kids.
Fun start to the series. And look, obviously that's easy for me to say now. Stupid thing to say. I get it. But, off to an entertaining start. We'll see in game two.
We're into it.
Yeah, we are into it.
Somebody has been punched in the face.
Yep.
Let's go.
Which means let's stop, get a new beer.
Yes.
And then we'll talk a little bit about Team Canada at Women's Worlds and a little bit about the rest of the playoff series that are now underway.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
All right, as we jump back in here, we remind you some baseball talk on the next episode of the show. Arden Zwelling from Sportsnet is going to be here, so stick around for that. All kinds of good stuff, always coming down the pipe. Some of the time coming down the pipe on the Tall Can Audio podcast. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you're hearing us right now.
We make no guarantees.
No, there are no promises in life. What do you have in there on the second go around?
With Arden coming up tomorrow, that J series against the Mariners.
I hate the Mariners. God, I hate the Mariners.
When they gassed that game 2 in they
12
had
innings.
Guys at first and second, no out in the 9th, and they had a guy on third and the 10th with 1 out, and they had a guy at third with 1 out in the 11th. and you don't cash all three of those opportunities,
Runners in scoring position all over again, man.
and you're going with Easton Lucas against Castillo you're fucking losing now 2 out of 3 in this series. That to me was.
That's the beauty / not beauty of baseball is not just, we're in trouble today, but tomorrow we aren't going to rebound, right? Like the baseball season is just set up in that way it never ends, right? And you're always worried about, we're gassing the bullpen right now and it's Easton Lucas tomorrow and we're not going to have any blah. It was a bad day.
When you had no
bad
Garcia
weekend.
and you had no Hoffman in game 2 and you were really up against it. Anyways, I know we weren't talking baseball. We'll leave all that for the guy who really knows what he's talking about.
He knows what's up.
Just me as a fan,
Yep.
I knew at that time, I'm like, we're losing 2 out of 3 here.
And we did.
As it turns out, even with a rookie coming in and tying a major league record with 8 strikeouts in game 3.
Paxton something.
Schneider, Schultze, something.
We're sorry to Paxton's family.
Yeah.
Long-time
Anyways.
listeners.
What am I drinking, Matt? You asked that 5 minutes ago. Again, keeping it local, this is over to our good friends at Beyond the Pale.
Nice.
This is the Tropical Breeze,
Ooh.
New England.
Ooh. There's not tropical and New England.
New England Saison.
I'm fascinated.
I was
a lot
also
happening
there is a lot happening here. In this
And you
beer.
often kind of wave off the Saison, right? And so,
Everybody's doing it now, though, man. Everybody is pumping one out, right? And so,
especially after that game last night.
I told you, man. 3 guys. We're talking. So it's
That was awesome.
slalom skiing. There was all kinds of things happening. This comes in at 4.5. So again, I had a brunch. There was 4 beverages at there, and
Rob, 3 sheets to the wind coming in here. Or?
honestly, we then a pre-show pint, and there's things happening. So I got to keep it on the.
But dude, answer the call for you, Sens
man.
fans.
Yeah.
Come in, speak for your people.
And I am here. I'm here for that.
Yeah. Because other people weren't.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Candy asses.
see, and I also, I like.
you thought about waving it on.
No, yeah, you sort of split a bottle of wine. I had a couple of Guinness last night. You get after it a
Long
bit.
weekend times,
Come on, man. You just put your big boy pants on and get
Take
in
off
here.
your bra and be a man.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
That's you, Hoff.
So this is
Right. Still talking.
interesting. I am, I'm shouting in between, and it's, I need a little bit more here, but it is fruity. It's kind of juicy, and it is a little yeasty. So it's
Also, you, Hoff. I don't know what any of that means.
there's some kind of egg
Yeast.
inserted. I don't know what happens here, but
Yeah.
anyways, see the doctor.
Soon.
UTI.
Yeah.
I don't. Anyways.
Hey, before we dive into
What you're
the
drinking?
second half, but I went on Holiday Monday, hit the advanced polls, and it sounded like
I went in on Sunday, hit the advanced polls.
did they start Friday or Saturday now? I can't
Friday.
remember. Yeah, and it looked like then massive lineups.
I waited longer in line on Saturday than I did for the provincial election on election day.
On actual election day.
Yeah.
See, I walked right in, no problem. Now, I should say, you go in, you show your ID and your address, and they tell you kind of which table to go to, which area to go to. Like, there's different tables set up around the gymnasium at the high school that was doing.
You start with an R. You need to be over there.
I guess I couldn't tell whether it was based on the name or the address, but they sent us to essentially table 605. I'm like, all right, cool. Be it 605. And there was one person in front of me when we got there. They voted, pieced out, and we were next. At table 604, there was like a lineup of like 15 people. So I have no idea if everyone who lives on Smith Street
Cherry Lane.
everyone whose last name starts with D all showed up at the same time or something. That was a little odd. But man, it was encouraging, for whatever side you come down on. There was a lot of people who said, hey, doing this over Easter long weekend, that's not the right way to go about this. That's going to suppress voting. Did not appear.
Yeah, no. Who says that? You got
there was a
4
ton of
days.
that. Yeah. Well, this is it, right? Like for a lot of people, it's a really long weekend.
Yeah. Come on, man.
There's a lot of talk that maybe
Could you come to my house and let me cast a ballot there? Like, fuck, man.
there was a lot of reports though that on that first day or two, at least on Friday, lines were long. And traditionally, that suggests people who want change, right? That maybe this would be good news for Poilievre. If you're unhappy, you're more likely to get out there, make sure I'm anxious to vote. I need this to happen right now. And yet, some of the polls would suggest that Carney is also viewed as a change. I don't know what to read into it, but I thought it was cool to see, even on an Easter weekend when a lot of people were worried about your suppressing makes it sound intentional, but like this is the wrong time to do advanced polls. It did not seem to stop anybody. Regardless of who you're voting for, people turned out, man.
Man, wherever you are, like in Ontario, so I, as a municipal seat moistener,
That's right.
get 4 day. I got a 4-day long weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I understand some people only
His seat's going to be so dry by the time he gets back.
I understand some people just get Friday
Yep.
and don't get Monday. Or if you're in Quebec, right across the river here, you don't get Friday, but you get Monday, right? Like either way, you can do this if you really want to do it. Like, are you doing dinner on Friday? Are you doing dinner on Saturday? Are you doing dinner on
you're
Sunday?
not busy all weekend.
Like, what the... Anyways,
it took 3 minutes to walk in and out today.
this is it. And
'Cause my name's not Smith or whatever.
but it's funny because during the provincial election, because it was only
like a month ago?
Yeah. So I'm in there and there's an old couple next to me and they're both behind the thing at the same time.
Right.
And it's one of those things where, and I say older, they were probably in their 70s.
Sure. Well, that's old.
Yeah. But
Than some people.
I can hear the wife saying to the husband, "Who are we voting for?
Oh, no.
Who are we voting for again?" Like, what? So I couldn't hear what he was saying.
This is like the 30s.
Yeah,
Although
this
they
is-
wouldn't have voted by then.
But I'm just like,
You've been told before we go who
What are
were
we talking,
our
we talked about this. I haven't. Who are we voting for?
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things where that sounds like what was happening in 604.
Right.
Was there was somebody up at the front going, "Wait, no, I'm pretty sure that you said we were voting for McCaskill." No. And
Sitting right here, we're only like 6 blocks east of where the line changes and becomes Mark Carney territory. His actual riding. But,
out in Farhaven,
yeah, Nepean.
out by Dawn.
I'm Ottawa West. Yeah, exactly. In Dawn and Farhaven's riding, presumably. So,
And
point being,
I'm right up against the Poilievre. He's over in Stittsville. I am. He's just the other side. I'm
Yeah.
Kanata Carlton. He's just the other side.
apparently flooded the ballot with names anyway. I'm starting to lose my unpartisan.
Anyways.
Which was paper thin at
no,
best.
I think it's
Throughout the rest of the week, you can still vote at different electoral offices, but otherwise it's next Monday. Go vote. I don't care who you vote for. I do, but I won't tell you to vote for. Go vote. Just
MF.
go go vote.
Go vote, man. Do your civic duty. Unless you're doing your nails, sorting your sock drawer. I got things to do.
Socks are important, man.
man.
Glad I didn't stomp that. We'll slap that down and save it for a future. Look, before we dive back into some of the other NHL series, I wanted to talk just a little bit about something you didn't watch, but I was...
Go Czechia.
They hosted, did a nice job. Katerina Mrazova of the Ottawa Charge told Czech media after the tournament she is dealing with 2 broken bones and a torn ligament in her wrist. Not great news for
Could you
Ottawa.
not have just stayed at home?
So we'll see what that looks like. But look, it turns out, to no one's surprise, Canada-USA in the gold medal game goes to overtime. Everything you want out of a Canada-USA women's hockey game, right? It
Just
delivers.
like last year.
Yes, except last year we had the common sense to play Danielle Serdachny, and she scored the game-winning goal. She did not see the ice in overtime this year, and this is one of the things I wanted to bring up to you, man. Like, there is a certain amount as a coach of read my roster, who's got it going today, who's. This went almost 19 minutes into 3-on-3. We didn't see Jen Gardner, who was the second leading scorer in the tournament. We did not see Danielle Serdachny, who scored the golden goal last year.
Golden goal.
We did not see Claire Thompson. We did not see Erin Ambrose, a veteran of a lot of... kept throwing the same six, and we do see that, right? In the NHL, in whatever, we got. But when you go 19 minutes of 3-on-3 and you can't find time for the tournament's second leading goal scorer, and look, I like Daniel Serdachny just because she is part of the Ottawa franchise and because she got it done last year. But if you felt like she's got to go, or maybe he's aware of an injury that we don't know about, could be anything. But Claire Thompson's been around. Erin Ambrose has been around. Joss Larocque had been giving it up repeatedly, and she did on the game-winning goal against. She gives it away. It's a brutal change for Canada. It ends up going in. I'm just sort of wondering, Troy Ryan, the head coach for Canada, can we criticize it? Or is 3-on-3 for 19 minutes? Yeah. You just go, yeah. Because how many times have I sat here and said, anything that happens in 3-on-3 is a coin flip. I'm not going to get pissed about it. I got pissed about this, man.
Well, when you're rolling out the same 6 or 7 players, 8 players, over 19 minutes in 3-on-3.
And they're good players, right?
Yeah.
It's Nurse. It's Poulin. It's Stacey. It's
hauling ass up and down the ice for 19 minutes.
Somebody on your bench is fresh, man. So
well, and cold, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
But
by the time you've
that is on coaching, right? When you get past, like in the NHL, we're used to the 5 minutes.
Yes.
So it's easy to sort of tax your top end players. Yep. But once you get beyond that, you got to expand the bench.
And this is it. And you've got some pretty capable players on that bench. I don't understand.
It isn't like you are the New York Sound. Right? And I'm just saying that you are on Team Canada, you're going deep with the high quality players on the bench.
You have Erin Ambrose on your bench. She can play a shift. Jen Gardner is the second leading goal scorer in the tournament. You can play her, right? Like
once you get beyond 6 minutes in overtime,
everybody get out there. Merrick Malik is going, right? Like
this is it. Yeah. I'm the 16th person, and I'm going between my legs, and I'm
burying it.
I'm roof daddy that thing. So that is coaching, and I hope. And again, I know I'm not going to bury Ryan here, but I'm just saying it is. This becomes, as the women's game,
more and more attention, more and more aware. We know our players
coaching
better.
will be scrutinized as well,
and it should be.
And of course, it should be. The women's game deserves it, and as the women's game gets more and more spotlight and better, because a pro game with 6 or 8 teams, whatever it becomes, will just deepen the talent pool internationally. The pro game may be the best thing that's going to happen for Czechia, Sweden, Finland, right? Like you may see better players.
Czechs held the Americans tight, lost by 1 in the semi. Like
but you will
that's
see
a host team. Like that's a great result for them, right? Sold a pile of tickets, held the Americans tight.
Likely selling pilsners for a buck of glass.
Love it, man. Yeah,
just two-handing it, just like woo. Maybe that's just me. But I wasn't even watching the game. But I'm just saying, this to me is as the pro game on the women's side continues to grow, and you will get a deeper international pool as those players start to play pro hockey. Coaching will become more and more screwed. We talked about it with Carla McLeod a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Where the chippiness with the media becomes because you are now getting to a spot where the feel good is gone. And people are now scrutinizing.
I want to fucking win.
I want to win. Yeah. And now it is more eyes are watching this, and they're like, hey, man, I wouldn't have done that. Why did you do that?
Right.
Whereas before, you're like, Canada won again.
Are we cute?
Lost.
Aren't we still happy to have high attendance? No.
Canada lost in the States again. It's a give and take. But now you're like, I'm looking at that going, you outshot the Americans by 15 shots, and you didn't win the game, and you made these choices. Why?
Yep.
So that to me is...
And that's what the athletes want. They've been saying it since last year. We would love to get past the, hey, how good does it feel to have an... Yeah.
Man.
What's wrong with the
pro
penalty
sports.
kill? What's wrong with the... Yeah. So
You gas the 3-0 lead.
Right.
You have a 3-goal lead, you win that game 99 times out of 100.
You don't get a shot in the third? Yeah, we're going to have questions.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you're going to wear that, coach.
Yeah. So... always entertaining anyway when Canada plays the USA, and it turned out to be another classic. Went the way I didn't want it to this year.
Top end talent.
Yeah, that's right. So before we wrap the show, we got to talk at least a little about there are other series happening. It is Monday afternoon, Monday evening as you and I sit here and have this conversation. So Montreal, Washington has not fired up yet. Edmonton and
Los Angeles.
They have not fired up yet. And Tuesday is going to be Tampa versus Florida, game 1. So this has been stretched out a little.
Fix. All those Panthers coming back, getting maximum rest.
Over the course of the weekend, what caught your eye? For me, and for a lot of people, I think we were all excited for Colorado, Dallas. But man, Dallas has been just struggling to the finish line, beat up and hurt. Heiskanen is skating. I think you'll see him in this series. Whether or not it happens in time remains to be seen. That was the one that jumped out to me. Yeah. Jason Robertson, they're calling that week to week. That means you're not seeing him in this series, I wouldn't think.
To me, it was the Blues and the Jets.
They went at it,
the opener. And the Blues came out, and this is what Ottawa needed to do, in my opinion, was the Blues came out, and they got on the Jets early. Yeah. Right? And you're like, we're gonna try and take the crowd and everything right out of it.
Yep.
It was a good game.
Yep.
To me, it was. But when you look at that Connors goal with 1:15 left, that's a bit of a backbreaker, and I'll be interested to see how St. Louis rebound. I know it's only game 1, but you're winning that game, and then it just ebbed away from you, and then dagger, and then empty. It just sort of. We'll see tonight when game 2 of that series goes. That was good. I watched.
There are people, just before we move off that series, there are people saying, people who understand goaltending certainly better than I do, that Hellebuck still looked
oh, no, it's not me.
Tentative. Like, he's not challenging as much as he used to. And look, he won, so you don't worry too much about it. But there are some of those people suggesting there's something there. Like, he's not as aggressive.
Like a sub 900, though.
Yeah.
Or a 900. He was.
And so you're up 1-0, you kind of go, he'll be fine. And maybe he will, right? That goes to his legs, maybe, or his confidence, however you want to phrase that.
They did win game 1 last year against Colorado.
Good point, man.
So.
Are you worried about him?
I am not at this point. In this series.
Yeah.
I'm not. I think the Blues.
Yeah.
I think they're a little fat for that glass slipper. Right? Like, I think that crazy win streak they went on, and then they finished the season on a bit of a skid.
Yep.
I think they
right. We're the Blues.
That's right. We're doing Blues things. Where's Pat Maroon?
All right. Where is Pat? I think he's in Chicago.
Retired.
Yes.
And so it is one of those things where you go, we're not that great. Right, we are the 2024 Nashville Predators.
That's too hard. Oh, the Blues. Sorry, yes.
The Blues. That's what I'm talking about.
I thought we were burying the Jets already.
No.
Which I love to do.
No. Hey, we hope to have their assistant coach on the pod sometime this summer. So,
which I would never do is bury the Jets.
Yeah, we don't want to bury those guys.
This will be the 4th or 5th summer we've been.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
But this is the first time I've been.
The problem is me. I leave town. Rob keeps lining it up. I keep fucking off to the lake.
Yeah, that's a nice spin.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I've really I watched a bit of the Dallas, Colorado.
Yeah.
It didn't, to me, as you suggested, there wasn't a pile of.
This was supposed to be a heavyweight fight, and one of them's hurt, right?
Right.
One of the fighters is hurt.
It's to me, it's like, if you want to use that fight analogy, there's a bit of a fractured rib or something on the Stars side. Like, I'm
gonna fight, but that guy is not right.
It looks not so great, and so somehow I found myself picking belly lint or something. I'm not entirely sure.
Took a nap, woke up.
The Carolina New Jersey game was on, and I was just like,
you might have been the only one in Canada who watched that.
What's happening here? Oh, look at that. And honestly,
people tuning in hoping for the 6-hour pregame show for Toronto, Ottawa instead.
This is it.
Jersey
well, and
Carolina.
I was PVRing the Ottawa game later is actually what was happening. I got up and I'm like, oh, look at this.
Yeah.
So I watched a bit of that, but at that point it was 40-20, 40-17 were the shots in favor of Carolina.
Like, Jersey just couldn't. Man, I get it. Jack Hughes, that's a big loss.
Jack Hughes.
Right? But you gotta find a little something I don't know, as somebody who's curious to see what Sheldon Keefe is going to be able to pull off down there.
Curious?
And not.
Is that the word you want to use?
Yeah. I never disliked.
Experimentation. No penetration.
Please.
Curious.
Yes. Curious for sure. I wanted to see how it was going to go, right? Were the Leafs going to be better or worse without Keefe? Is Keefe going to be better or worse without the Leafs, right? I wanted to see. Now, Keefe is going in wickedly understaffed, right? But that was a burial in terms of a playoff game one. Nobody played.
You talk about teams who are playoff prepared and tested.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carolina sort of came out and they're like,
this is what we do.
you know when your lawn is a little bumpy and you sort of get that roller out there and you fill it with water and it's like heavy and you're like rolling it over. That's the lawn roller. That's kind of what Carolina was.
You're in our way.
And Jersey was just like, hey, but I'm here. Clunk. Yeah, that's what it was. So to me, we'll see, but I don't expect that series to be long. That's a short one. And as you know, Carolina, if they can get through this quickly,
yeah,
with the way they play the game, you know, Freddie Anderson, the fewer games he has to play means the smaller chance that he's going to get injured.
Yeah.
So if you can just get that done in 5 and let Fred put him in a cryo chamber, like I think or glass, like under, you know, somewhere, bubble wrap, like something's happening to Freddie Anderson.
Anything that stops us from seeing Kochetkov.
Yeah, so just that's the only thing, right? I'm interested in the Edmonton, LA to see what happens there.
So am I. I doubt I'm going to make it that late, but
no. Well, and again,
I'm with you though. I think this might be the year LA gets through. Just quickly, the other ones in the East, because I doubt either one of us will be able to watch Florida Tampa on Tuesday. That'll be at the same time as Toronto Ottawa.
We can watch it.
We will choose not to.
I may flip over when it's 6-1 Ottawa in the second period. I may just check over just a little bit. Hey, what's happening there?
And I may flip over after Ottawa's done flipping over. That's the way I'm going to look at that.
Bite the pillow.
Yeah, exactly. It'll all be over soon.
Yeah.
Any chance at all for you? Like, to me, this is all Tampa right now. Florida's beat up. I don't know whether Kachuk's going to be healthy. I don't know whether Brad Marchand is going to show up. Ekblad, is he going to have rust on? To me, this is Tampa in 6.
Well, Ekblad doesn't come until game 3.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he'll miss 2 games and come in. To me, Tampa might walk through this. It'll be bloody, but I'm not sure it'll be close.
If it wasn't on the same night,
yes,
I would be
You're
hoping.
I
would be hoping for maximum chaos.
Yes. Okay.
I agree with you though. To me,
This is set up for Tampa.
everybody had said, you know, okay, Florida doesn't care. They don't care. Like once the division started to slip away.
That's an easy story to tell.
Then they're like, well, we don't care. We just want to be healthy. We'll play everybody. And you're like, yeah, that's a scary team if you're healthy.
Yeah.
But are you healthy?
Right.
And clearly the answer is no. Right. Like if you look at the way teams, you know, guys sitting, a lot of teams put guys back in the final game or the final,
No, they're
2
beat
games.
up, man.
They are damaged in so many
Barkov,
ways.
we'll see. Like, he missed a little time.
And his second half of the
Bennett.
season was not good.
No.
Right? So to me, they are...
And yet, I'm betting against it, as I just said, but I don't know. Maybe they get in there and go, yeah, fuck you. Here we are. Everybody's rested and healthy.
The
feeling
champ
good.
is here.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah. I don't know, but...
Montreal, Washington,
Yeah, to me...
fighting chance for the Habs?
there is a fighting chance.
I think so too, man.
But we're going to see in game 1.
But to me, it's like a 60-40 fighting chance, not like a 50-50, not like a...
No.
The Washington is still the better team.
I think Montreal has a puncher's chance.
Yep.
Right in this, if things go their way early, because again, Washington is one of those teams that, man, they were on a skid in terms of goals allowed, 11 straight
And everyone
games.
tried to convince themselves they're all just too focused on the Ovi thing, and then they got that done and kept sliding.
Well, and somebody said, I don't know where the quote came from, like, yeah, Washington's been following Ovi around on a party bus for like 3 weeks, right? And now we got to get back to business.
Oh shit, there's work to do.
There's actually something to do here,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh man, it's. So I will be interested because like Florida, who's sort of scuffling into the playoffs.
Yep.
Washington's scuffling for different reasons, right? Like their focus wasn't legit.
Right.
And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But if Montreal can get on Washington early,
Yes.
it'll be interesting. But if
Steal one here. Grab game 1, see what happens.
the Caps come out and slap Montreal in the mouth tonight,
grass
they're like, oh yeah,
roller
guess what? Yeah, this is it, right? We'll see, because I think it could be humbling for that Habs team, because
And they could use that. Or at least their fan base could.
their fan base certainly could, right? But whatever.
That's probably where we can wrap this one up. We'll be talking baseball mid-Tuesday afternoon. Keep an eye out for that. And then other things after that. Which is how you, good listener, know Matt has no idea where this
You
is
counting
going
on
after
Hoff
that.
later this week? Is he coming back? Is he doubling back?
I don't know. It turns out he's got a torn labia or something. We'll see what happens there. It's no good. No.
A little mud on the flaps. I'm not sure what's happening there, man. That's
We wish him all the best in his recovery from his 1 or 2 extra wine spritzers on Sunday night.
You know what? I've never met the man personally.
I'm burying him. I don't give a shit.
I've just listened. He likes his New England. He's not drinking a spritzer. I think that guy he's out there going. He's doing it. Now, if what you're really saying is that he didn't want to show up on a 6-2 Leaf win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I'm here to say, bring it. We're good.
That's it. There is a man who will come and represent that Sens fan base.
This is that guy.
Yes.
Well, and drink beer.
Yeah.
I said to Matt, I'm like, are we going to drink beers? We're going to have a... He's like,
not on this show.
The green room was at I said, can we just drink beers in the studio? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Like that never happens.
We say thank you to that man who speaks for the Sens fan.
This guy.
That guy. We'll wrap it up here. Stay tuned for Arden's Welling and then other things later. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the podcast. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you're hearing us right now and follow along on social media at Tall Can Audio. See you later.
See ya.
I've got nothing here. You're giving me baseball and hockey, and I got my keister blowing in the wind. That made to look like a fool here. That's just dumb. I don't want anything to do with this place. This place is run by a bunch of children.